NBC5 News at 6 starts now.
The suspect stopped and turned towards the officer and swung the knife at him.
Medford police say a convicted sex offender tried to attack an off-duty police officer before Monday's fatal officer-involved shooting. Good evening and thank you for choosing NBC5 News at 6. I'm Craig Smallwood.
And I'm Kristen Husfeld. We're learning new information tonight about what led to a deadly shooting in Medford Monday.
We now know that the suspect was a convicted sex offender. Police say he was out on parole and stole merchandise at Sportsman's Warehouse.
That incident ended across Highway 62 when an off-duty officer attempted to stop the suspect, who swung a knife at him.
The suspect stopped and turned towards the officer and swung the knife at him. The officer then fired 2 shots from his weapon, and the suspect was immediately stopped.
The suspect in Monday's officer-involved shooting has been identified as 27-year-old Timothy Carruthers, a Medford area resident and convicted sex offender who was out on parole and wanted for a parole violation. According to police, Carruthers was being questioned by loss prevention staff at the Sportsman's Warehouse when an off-duty officer stepped in.
The suspect was being uncooperative at the business, and the off-duty officer identified himself to the suspect as a police officer and presented his badge.
The officer removed himself from the situation and Carruthers was led to a loss prevention office. That's when police say things escalated.
The suspect produced a knife and slashed it at the store personnel to escape from the office.
The off-duty officer then chased Carruthers to the Crater Car Wash across Highway 62. He told him to drop his weapon, but police say that didn't happen.
He turned and swung the knife at the officer.
Carruthers was shot twice and pronounced dead on scene. Police say the officer followed department policy.
An officer is a sworn officer 24/7, 365. If you witness a crime in your presence, you're encouraged to be a good witness, but if the circumstances are escalated to a point where there's no choice, the officer will engage and try to stop it. That's what happened in this case.
It will now be up to a grand jury to decide if the officer's actions were justified. The officer involved has been placed on administrative leave, which is standard procedure and will not be identified until the case is presented to a grand jury. The district attorney's office says that could take 4 to 6 weeks. Meanwhile, anyone who witnessed the incident or has information that could be helpful in the case is asked to call OSP at 541-664-8762.